Hey guys, James Harvey here, again with another product review. This time the product review is the Corbeau GTS 2 seats. You guys know that the factory seats they're just not that great, right? I mean, they're okay, but they're not that great. Finding an aftermarket seat for one of these things was absolutely a nightmare problem. First problem is nobody has the seats in their shop. I had to go to like 10 different shops to sit in each seat to see which one I was going to like. And then when I finally found a seat that I like, the damn thing doesn't fit. So here's the problems that I went through. Here was the solution, and here's some of the problems after it's been installed and it's still a work in progress. So the first seat I wanted to go with was the Corbeau Baja suspension seat. Absolutely looks like a comfortable seat, felt comfortable. The problem is it won't recline once it's been mounted in the Jeep, right? It hits the roll bar. Someone said take a hammer and hammer in the roll bar. Like, the last thing I want to do is hammer in my roll bar that's supposed to protect me on rolling over. So that seat's not going to work. The next seat is the Corbeau GTS 2. Very comfortable seat. They come in vinyl, they come in cloth, and they come in leather, right? So I went with the all leather, and I went with the lumbar support, gives a little better support. Great seat so far. The leather on quality, you got high quality, medium quality, and low quality. You're kind of like a medium kind of grade. They're not a super high quality. We'll see how they kind of last and stuff. They have a pocket in the back. Now, one of the problems you're going to have is mounting to the factory seats. Now, this was a real pain in the ass. I saw some video goes, oh, it's not that hard. Kind of a pain in the ass to figure it out. The instructions are not really that clear. But after getting it in, you have to get, if you want to use the factory seat brackets with the double latching, you're going to have to buy the Corbeau bracket. The problem is the damn seat sits too high now. Anybody that has a TJ that had the factory seats in them, y'all probably just like myself, and you put in one of those little block spacers to raise it up so you can kind of sit up so you ain't looking down like a little kid at the steering wheel. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So you mount it here. Right, here's the Corbeau bracket mounting onto the factory seat rail. You see this gap here? You got to have this gap or you can't get that stupid bolt in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you when I hop in this Jeep. And the other thing is again, I got a pretty good sized lift, so you got to get up over this thing. So as you can see, the seat's comfortable. Now it still needs to be broken in, but I'll tell you what, I used it yesterday off-road. Absolutely loved it over my other seats. But the problem is the head, right? Like my head, and I'm only 5'8", it's almost even with the roll bar. The problem is if you're 6 foot, your head's going to be sitting up here. The other problem you have is your arm kind of sits up. You got about a 2-finger gap for your arm to rest on here. If you're one of those guys with super long arms, you're going to have no problem resting your arms. But if you're like me with short dinosaur arms, your arms are going to sit up here a little bit like this, and it's kind of like just not quite comfortable. The next thing I noticed is the seat sits a little further forward than the factory seat. And the reason I know this is I used to be able to go all the way back in the factory seat. My little short legs, well, short for me, but they couldn't push the throttle all the way down, so I always had to be one click forward in the seat. I'm now all the way back in the seat, and I'll tell you what, I can put my foot all the way down on the gas. So that tells me that the seat has moved forward probably 1 inch to a 1/2 inch or somewhere in that range. It's actually moved everything forward. Good for folks in the back. In the front, I don't know. The other thing is the steering wheel doesn't feel quite the way it does when you have your stock seat. Your stock seat just feels a little more comfortable than these, but again, it's still a work in progress. By using the adapter to attach to your factory seat brackets, you still get the ability for the passenger seat to do that tumble forward. Absolutely great. You have a little bracket in the back, a little latch. Let me show you on the other side. Hold on a minute. Okay, so as I was saying, you grab on the front here and you pull the seat forward. All of us Jeep guys know that. And you have to grab this lever and pull this. Now, instead of the seat just going on its own, it has a little lever right here. If you can see that lever right there, see that? You got to pull that sideways, and now you get it. The problem is this thing kind of sticks to the side. So I noticed when I had passengers in here yesterday, they were kind of stuck on stupid and kept leaving it to the side and didn't push it back to lock in. So if you left it stuck to the side, the problem you have is when the seat goes back, it still goes forward, right? So my wife's in here yesterday and she almost gets ejected out of the Jeep. Good thing the seatbelt was on and kind of stopped her or something. So you got to manually kind of push that back over, and now it locks in, right? But other than that, the height issue is still a problem. I'm not quite sure what to do. I don't know if to have some other bracket built, but if you had another bracket built and where the cable hooks up, it's not going to hook up right, so it's not going to have the right tension and all that. So I'm not quite sure what to do with this thing. But as far as comfortability, absolutely, they work great. As far as reclining, the thing reclines all the way back, all the way forward, doesn't hit the roll bar, absolutely perfect. Where the Baja suspension seats, they actually would hit this roll bar. Like I said, someone said take a hammer on your roll bar. What are you, an idiot? I'm not going to damage my roll bar for a seat. But as far as that, so far, like I said, I'm pretty happy. It's a work in progress. We'll see how they go, see how they last up. They do come with a pocket in the back, so you can put a pocket back there, like a Boda bag or something else for water. That kind of works out. But they're really high on the sides. You got a really good solid fit. If you're a larger person, right? So if you're one of those guys that, you know what I'm talking about, you're a bigger dude, these probably aren't the seats for you. The reason is these are pretty narrow. I mean, I'm a pretty wide guy and I kind of fit in them okay. But I can see someone that's really big having a tough time with these seats. But everyone else, I mean, they work absolutely great. And the reason I went with leather over vinyl, just wanted the better feel, the better quality. Went with, they said, lumbar support. That works great. Here's the lumbar support, the way it works, right? It quickly pumps it up. Now, one of the questions I had for them was your factory seat bracket. It actually bolts right into everything, so it all kind of fits together, but you do have to buy the Corbeau bracket to attach to the factory bracket. And again, I wanted the tumbling seat. Corbeau does make another bracket that completely takes away your factory bracket, but it doesn't have the tumbling seat. So can you guys imagine this? Like, just picture this, right? You got people in the back, and this seat only goes forward. It doesn't tumble forward. How the hell are you going to get them out of the back, right? Climb them through the window with you have to take your window off and stuff. Like, that just ain't going to work. So that's probably for someone that doesn't use the Jeep as far as having anyone in the back. But if you got people in the back, these are probably what you're going to do. Again, you're going to sit up a little bit higher. Like, you definitely, if you had blocks before, you're going to be taking them blocks out. So guys, I hope this thing helps for you. If you have any questions, shoot me an email down below. Guys, have a great day. Hey guys, James Harvey here. All right, so we're day 4 on testing these Corbeau 4-point harnesses. We're actually on the trail right now driving. 4-point harnesses over a standard regular seat belt. No comparison. First off, the 4-point, better security on them. You got these adjustments. You can really lock them in. You can loosen them up on the trail so they're not really bugging you. I went ahead and opted with these pads so they wouldn't dig in my neck. Now, any of you guys ever been on a trail or on a real steep incline or decline, and you got to get out and check something, and you unbuckle your seatbelt. Seatbelt comes undone, no problem. Goes back in. You go out, check the vehicle. You come back in and you try to get your seatbelt out and the damn thing's locked in. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me on a trail, and you're looking at the rest of the trail going, I wanted my seatbelt on in case I roll this thing, and I don't want to be flopping around without a seatbelt. That's why I ended up opting with the 4-point harnesses. I went with the Corbeau because I got the Corbeau seats. Let me do an update on those. The Corbeau seats, this is after 1 year of use. When I first got these things, they actually sat up a little bit too high. You couldn't touch your armrest. I was a little worried about them. They're a little stiff. But now after a year being in this seat, doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of off-road, this seat is settled in. It's absolutely great. I do have the lumbar support for the trail. Phenomenal seat, totally broke in, no problems. Way, way, way more comfortable than a stock seat, especially if you're going to spend the hours like we do in our Jeeps, where we're 7-8 hours of just strictly off-road, point A to point B. You want something comfortable. So hope that helps. Oh, they were the GTI 2 seats from Corbeau. Anyways, you guys have a good day, and thanks for tuning in.